Both regions are Spanish and both of them are very well known of producing top-notch Tempranillos, but also other wines. So what is the actual difference between Ribera del Duero and Rioja wines? Let's find out! Before we start, many thanks to the Corkscrew Wine and Spirit merchants for helping me with this video. And if you're watching my channel for the first time, please consider to subscribe. The first difference between both regions is, of course, location. La Rioja is located 3.5 hours drive from Madrid and is located right beside Navarra and the Basque Country in the north part of Spain, which is Ribera del Duero is located in Castilla y León in the northwest of the country, about 2 hours drive from the capital, Madrid. Did you know that Rioja is the oldest regulated wine region in Spain? The Denominación de Origen, DO, was given to the Rioja in June 1925. On the other hand, Denominación de Origen Ribera del Duero was established only in July 1982, and this is the second difference between both regions. Very important difference between Ribera del Duero and Rioja is the fact that in 1991, Rioja was promoted to DOCA, Denominación de Origen Calificada, which is a part of Vino de Pago. It's the highest wine classification in Spain. Did you know that there are only 2 wine regions in entire Spain that hold this prestigious appellation? A part of Rioja is also Priorat in Catalonia. However, I strongly believe that Ribera del Duero will be the third one very soon. The climate in both regions is continental. However, the climate of Ribera del Duero is definitely more extreme. Summers are way hotter and the rainfall is nearly 30% less than in Rioja. The eastern part of Rioja regions are influenced by Mediterranean climate, while the western areas are more influenced by the Atlantic. There's no difference in both regions regarding the main grape variety, which is Tempranillo. Fun fact, did you know that Tempranillo has 40 different synonyms across Spain, including Tinto del Toro, Sensible or Huile de Liebre. In Ribera del Duero there are 2 most common synonyms of Tempranillo, Tinto Fino and Tinto del País, which is in Rioja. This variety is simply called Tempranillo. There's 5 grape varieties permitted in Rioja. The main one is, of course, Tempranillo with nearly 88%. Then Garnacha Tinto is the second most important one. Then Graciano, Mazuelo, also known as Carignan, and finally Maturana Tinta, which covers 0.4% of whole plantings. The same amount of red varieties is also permitted in Ribera del Duero. A part of Tinto Fino, the winemakers can also use Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Malbec and Garnacha. So Tempranillo and Garnacha, there are only 2 grapes that can be found in both regions. The huge difference between both regions is the possibility of making single variety red wines. All red wines produced in the Ribera del Duero must contain at least 75% of Tinto Fino. Did you know that 9 of 10 bottles of Ribera del Duero is made entirely from Tempranillo grape? On the other hand, Rioja producers have definitely more flexibility, more freedom. A part of Tempranillo, they can also produce single variety wines from Graciano, Garnacha, Mazuelo and Maturana Tinta. 2 of my favorite producers of single variety wines from Rioja are Balón del Rey and Cornelio Dinastia. Did you know that both regions are also producing stunning white wines? However, white Riojas has definitely better reputation and recognition on the market. Since 1970, Viura, also known as Macabeo in the south part of Spain, is definitely the most important white variety in the Rioja region and represents nearly 70% of all plantings. Apart of Viura, there is also 8 other grapes permitted in Rioja region, including Maturana Blanca, Tempranillo Blanca, Malvasia, Viura, Chardonnay, and even Sauvignon Blanc. Rioja region have a great reputation of producing oaky and oxidized in-style white wines. I highly recommend to try Vina Tondonia, Cornelio Dinastia, and Marques de Murrieta Capellana. Historically, white wines of Ribera del Duero were produced only for the local consumption and labeled as Vina de la Tierra de Castilla, which means regional wine. However, in 2019, the wine law was changed, and now white wines produced in this area can be also labeled as a Denominación de Origen Ribera del Duero. The main grape in this area is called Albillo Mayor, and all the white wines produced in Ribera del Duero must contain at least 75% of this variety. It's good to know that both regions are also produce small amounts of rosé wines, and both of them are slightly different in style. Rioja Rosado is normally produced from either Garnacha or Tempranillo grape variety. Wines are normally very easy drinking and full of summer red fruits, which is the most traditional style of rosé wine produced in Ribera del Duero. It's called Clarete. Clarete wines are made by very unusual wine-making technique for still wines, which means that white and the red grapes are macerated and fermented together. One of my favorite rosé produced in Ribera del Duero, it's made by Bodega Felix Callejo. The other difference between Rioja and Ribera del Duero wine is the sparkling wines that can be only produced in the Rioja region. Very important thing is that Espumoso de Rioja are produced by traditional method, the same method that is used in Champagne region. The entry-level Espumoso wines are aged for a minimum of 15 months, Espumoso Reserva is aged for 2 years, and Espumoso Gran Añada is aged for a minimum of 3 years before its release. Aging regulations is one of the most important factors in terms of winemaking in both regions. Traditionally, Rioja wines were aged in American oak and Ribera del Duero in French oak, but these days everything has changed. For example, one of the most iconic producers of Ribera del Duero wines called Vega Sicilia is aging their wines in 50% French oak and 50% American oak. Aging regulations in both regions are practically the same. Wine labeled as Cosecha or Joven are usually unoaked and very youthful. Crianza wines are aged for a minimum of 2 years, which is at least 1 year in oak. Wines named as Reserva are aged for 3 years, which is at least 1 year in oak and 6 months in the bottle. Finally, wines labeled as Gran Reserva are normally produced within the best vintages and aged for 5 years, which is at least 2 years in oak and 2 years in the bottle. The only difference between Rioja and Ribera del Duero wines in terms of oak aging is the fact that some wines of Ribera del Duero can be also labeled as Roble, which means oak, and these wines are aged in oak barrels in between 3 to 6 months. The last and very important difference between Rioja and Ribera del Duero wines is the taste. So today I have 2 wines to compare, 2 Crianza in style, Bodega Cornelio Dinastia from Rioja 2020 vintage, and Punto Geodesico, Ribera del Duero 2019 vintage. So the first difference between both wines is definitely the color. Ribera del Duero, it's definitely darker than Rioja. Both wines' ordinals are pronounced. Rioja is full of red fruits such as raspberries, strawberries, also cherries, and hint of vanilla, which is Ribera del Duero is full of black fruits, especially blackberries, blueberries, and really dark plums, and also lovely spicy tones. Wow, fantastic. Both wines on the palate are completely different. Rioja is full of red fruits, Ribera del Duero is full of black fruits. Rioja have a lovely mild tannins, which is Ribera del Duero have medium plus tannins. And then level of acidity. Rioja wine is definitely more fresher than Ribera del Duero. Both wines are absolutely fantastic. The only difference between them, what I will do, I'll definitely pick a different food. For Rioja, I will go probably for the duck in some cranberry or maybe cherry sauce, which is for Ribera del Duero, I will definitely choose Côte de Bœuf with peppercorn sauce. My three favorite producers of Ribera del Duero wines are definitely Pago de los Capellanes, Bodega Felix Callejo, and Vega Sicilia. My favorite Rioja producers are definitely Lopez de Heredia, iconic producer, La Rioja Alta, another iconic producer, then Bodega Roda, very modern style producer of Rioja wines. Oh, and finally, Bodega Cornelio Dinastia. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I'm enjoying those two wines at the moment. By the way, don't miss out my next one, Top 10 the most overrated wines of 2024. So stay tuned, don't forget to subscribe, and see you next time.